right, everybody. Tell you what, it's 1 o'clock and we value your time. So this is Tom Randall again from Goldencare. I want to welcome you to this Integrity Short-Term Care Initiative webinar series. As you know, Dennis and my friend Dennis Reiner is on the phone, and we've had the pleasure of working together. More my pleasure maybe than his, but for I've been here 27 years now at Goldencare, and I think I've worked alongside Dennis at varying degrees for all those years, and it's been a pleasure. And Dennis, as you know, we've done a lot of sales calls and a lot of training calls. I think we did 30 live webinars here, and we're right in the middle of that, probably about an hour, a little past the middle. So it's been my pleasure. Dennis, do you want to jump on and say hi?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Yep, and we're really in for a treat today, because I'll tell you what, we've had not only Dennis and I yap at you for just a couple minutes here to start out, but the best part of the presentation today is we had a really nice last-minute offer, and we really appreciate it, from Courtney Mayer, as internal sales account district manager for Medico and Wellabe, and she's going to walk us through the eApp today. And we're really pleased to have Courtney take her valuable time to come and do this for you, because we know as we go into this that we have to make sure we have an opportunity to help as many people as possible. And I won't get on my soapbox today, because I want Courtney to have as much time as she needs to go through and talk about the eApp for Wellabe. But as you know, those stats never change, and those people need help out there, and there's a lot of gray hair in America, and we want to make sure we have the opportunity through this short-term care initiative, to help as many people as possible. So with that said, I'm going to turn it quick over to Dennis. You want to talk a little bit about one of the biggest abilities of these plans, their availability, et cetera, and show what we have where, and show how Wellabe's growing, et cetera. Go ahead, Dennis.
Thanks, Tom, and thanks, Courtney, again for joining us. You know, this map here represents the three Integrity sponsored products that we have. The GTL Recover Cash been out the longest of the three, so it has the most availability, about 35 states or so. Omniflex, you can see next in that baby blue, light blue, whatever color you want to call that, Tom. 31 and soon to be added. And Tom, I know how you like to put your cursor right where, so it's no mystery. Indiana, that's hometown, or not hometown, but I know one of the other folks that we work with at Wellabe, Kelly Rayburn, she used to live in Indiana. So then you see Wellabe there with Essential Care, and the Essential Care Plus product is out of the gates with 10 states. And as I understand it, unless Courtney corrects me, I believe the next time, maybe towards the end of the year, they'll be doing the additional states in 5-state increments. We expect that when it's all said and done, that Wellabe will be right up there in that same 30-ish range with the other products. And then on the home care side, we also have, again, that we're making available to the Integrity partners, the GTL short-term home health care, again, a good mid-30s. Manhattan has two products. Their latest is the Home Health Care Select, that we had an opportunity to be involved in on making some of the changes there. And then their legacy product is the previous version. There's some remaining states that you can see, those remaining states in terms of Colorado, Kansas, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Maryland, Ohio, PA, and Tennessee, and they will eventually be also having the new product, the Home Healthcare Select. And so all three, you can see here, where all three of the carrier products are available. You can also see the previous version of the Manhattan product. And it's just important because, as Tom said, that's really, it doesn't really matter if you have a plan that you think this client really loves, and then you don't check availability till later, and you find out that the plan that you were going to recommend isn't available. So all these short-term care products and the home care products are usually going to have about the same availability in the mid-30s or so. And so the Manhattan Life is the abbreviation. When we say MHL, it's Manhattan Life. Tom, unless there's something else on the state availability, I think that we can move on, and I'll just start off here and just continue, and then turn it back over to you, Tom. But the cost of care, I think Tom mentioned that, I'm a little higher mileage than Tom. I've been around a little bit longer, but we both worked together, as he says, for so many years. And it's sometimes we find that we finish each other's sentences, and it's great to work with Tom. He's got some great skill sets, and he's been very instrumental in the growth of this initiative here. And so with the cost of care back in the day, gosh, Tom, if you remember when we looked at that semi-private room today at almost 100,000, 94,000, I can remember when we were telling agents, hey, it's $33,000 a month or $36,000 a year. And in private rooms, you can see that. You can see where the costs are going to go. A lot of that, of course, as you know, is not so much brick and mortar costs, it's the labor costs today, finding good quality people that can actually be there. It's a tough job, both in the facility and even those that come in at home. And you can see, again, the rising home health care costs. And I know, Tom, there's some things that you like to spotlight when we talk about the home care, but just overall know that you don't have to, as you are going to listen to Courtney today and get into the enrollment and also some of the capabilities with Wellabe, they don't think that you have to cover 100% of that risk. That's not the case, and because it would be very difficult for most people to step up and design plans, or even have plans that would have the ability to have that amount of coverage. So it's important just to know that where these costs are, so that you can be able to share that information with those that you serve.
You bet. You bet. Thanks, Dennis. And real quick, that's the only thing on the short-term care policies to remember is a couple things. Remember, when we got into some of our other training, we talked about like designing a plan. We talked about, number one, these are indemnity benefits. Remember, that's the power of these plans, is that they're going to pay regardless of other insurance, et cetera. And secondly, even though you don't have to cover all the costs, if you want to, you can. That's one of the big things you'll remember from our other training when we got into starting the conversation and some of those things. We talked about the fact that these short-term care, sometimes your really educated adults are going to think, oh, these plans probably pay for 90 days and they just pay a little bit. These are very powerful plans if you'd like them to be. And that's one of the things I'm going to really highlight in a couple slides from now about Wellabe, because they have some real power with their plan design. If you want to go robust wise, they're right there. And again, that'll make more sense as we go on. So Dennis, unless you have anything else to add, we can go ahead and move.
No, that's important. And Tom, the only thing I was saying was not so much on the benefit limitation, just on really the pricing limitation when you do get into those comprehensive plans. But you'll be able to see the whole scale from, the most affordable all the way up to with more limited benefits to those that have more robust benefits. So absolutely, it's there's something for anyone's budget. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that's the part when I said indemnity. I want to make sure you guys caught that when we get into plan design and stuff. And today we're just going to learn kind of the ins and outs as Courtney goes through, and she might touch on some of those things. But the main thing, she's going to show you how to do it. But at the end of the day, remember, with indemnity benefits, not only do you get it regardless of other insurance, but if you do buy a plan that pays, let's say, $200 a day, and you had a home health aide come in, that 169 is probably 3 hours of home health aide, as I'm guessing what they're using. If they only came in for a couple hours and it was only $100 charge, you'd still get the full amount of your daily benefit, remember, with these indemnity plans. So I want to make sure you guys remember the difference between reimbursement and indemnity. So as we get into the Wellabe, and before I turn it over to Courtney and you'll be in better hands, I just want to point out a few things. This Wellabe plan fits so nicely in this portfolio because of the fact that it's very unique and it's got some nice parts about it. Remember, with Omniflex and with the Wellabe plan, you get the dual underwriting, right? Which is really nice to have when you're out there, because we talk a lot about the changing health in America, et cetera. And we talk about how a lot of the folks who used to be able to get long-term care, obviously you can't get it for them today. And even with the comprehensive short-term care plans, they have to watch out for themselves as they design these plans. So with Wellabe, you're going to see that they have actually, we could call it a 3-tier, but they have their Essential Care Plus plan, which is their most robust plan. It's got a lot of great pluses that I'll show you in a couple minutes, that has all the power of the plan. And again, the underwriting is much, much, much more lenient than what you'd see out there in the long-term care arena, certainly, and it's very competitive in the short-term care arena. And then with their Essential Care plan, really cool as you go through the underwriting. If you remember, we do our product training on Wellabe, the Essential Care plan, much easier to get than the Essential Care Plus. And that opens the door and throws that net wider, doesn't it? So you can have a really robust plan on the Essential Care plan. I'll talk about that in a minute too. as opposed to like the Omniflex, for example. You can get a little higher benefits with that secondary plan. And then they go over and above what anybody else does in the industry is they have this limited benefit rider, which is darn near guaranteed issue rider that just has a couple knockout questions, one broad question that kind of says, hey, you know what, let's look at some of these different things and these different health conditions. And again, we can show you all that in our product training where it goes through the app and makes it real clear which questions will limit you to that limited benefit rider. But I'll show you that again in a second as well. Okay. So as we go into the actual plans, one of the things we call this Wellabe, love the fact that it has the discounts that it does. These valuable discounts, remember, are for anybody 40 years old who are in your household. So it's not just married folks together. And again, very strong, 7% discount. That's stronger than anybody else out there for having somebody else just living in the house with you. So this is if mom or dad or two adults in the house one of them does not apply. Okay. So if they don't apply and you get the other one, we get a 7% discount, and then very strong 14% discount. Again, leader in the industry for this, really strong. If you have two qualifying adults who can get the Essential Care Plus or the Essential Care Plan, not that limited rider. Okay. You get a 14% discount, which is very strong. And then they really threw it in there. And we were really glad when we were working a little bit with Wellabe talking about this plan design. This was a biggie for us because we know there's a lot of folks, and especially some of you maybe on this call, who do a lot of Medicare work. And if you have a Wellabe Medicare sup policy, then you have over and above the other discounts, you have a 5% multi-policy discount. So you do the math on that, you can end up close to 19%. It's like 18.3% overall. That's a huge discount for your clients out there if they happen to have a med sup as well and they're married, so, or two adults. So it's really strong that way. They do protect, obviously the carrier had to protect themselves a little bit and say, hold on, if we're going to go where nobody else dares tread, we want to make sure we watch ourselves as a carrier. And this totally makes sense. 5% maximum discount for any plan that you have a limited benefit rider with. So think of the limited benefit rider, by the way, as kind of an uninsurable spouse a lot of times, or an uninsurable adult, where every other company has to walk away, where with Wellabe, you have the ability to say, hey, we not only can get you a nice plan with Essential Care or Essential Care Plus, but then we can throw on this limited rider and help out that other person who couldn't get coverage elsewhere. So it's a very strong alternative benefit for the folks in that household. So finally, the last slide, and then I'll turn it over in better hands. But this is just an overall overview slide. We have this on the site with your highlights of all of your Wellabe information. And again, this goes through, I think I have some lines here. One of the cool things that's a benefit a lot of people forget about, this is a base home healthcare benefit. So remember, all the other plans basically that we work with on the full comprehensive short-term care side start out with the facility side, and then you can add on a home healthcare rider, right? This is kind of unique with Wellabe. It's a very nice feature is that it starts out with a home care benefit. And again, it's a very strong benefit, right? Up to $300 like the other carriers. But look at that facility rider. If you put that on there, it goes up to $500 per day. So you start doing the monthly math on that. That's a nice, strong plan. And you can throw 5% simple inflation to make it a very, very robust plan down the line. So very strong part there. Again, adult daycare, return of premium, couple nice riders you can add on that are pretty unique. The adult daycare is pretty common for this type of care situation. So it's nice to have a rider on there. A lot of the other carriers don't have that. Excuse me. And then we have the return of premium, which is nice. I don't know what kind of utilization we'll get on that, but it is unique and it's something different to open up the door with and start a conversation. Okay. And finally, the essential care, I just want to point out, the essential care, the nice part about that, you're going to have health conditions if you use our health tools that we talk about on which policies are available. And this is one of those that I make no bones about it. You have this essential care, and there's going to be conditions that you're probably only going to qualify in the comprehensive short-term care side for Omniflex or the Wellabe plan. And when you look at this, if somebody's looking for bigger benefits, this essential care, that's a huge, great niche, is when you look at it and say, hey, we can get you up to $250 facility. Remember, with Omniflex, it's a $100 cap, and you can get up to $150 on the healthcare, which is really strong compared to the $100 with the Omniflex as well. So a couple things there that make them stand out. And of course, there's that limited benefit rider we already talked about. That's just a huge, huge plus for somebody who gets a policy and has somebody who's uninsurable. So that being said, I think, Dennis, unless you want to add in there, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Courtney. And Courtney, all you have to do is go find your share screen. And I don't think I have to stop share, but I will just in case. Nope, I don't have to.
Perfect. Okay, I think I have it as long as you're able to see it. All right.
We can. Thank you so much, Courtney. And again, everybody, this is Courtney Mayer from Medico. She's a district manager on the sales account side, and we're in good hands now, and hopefully Dennis and I will pick up some stuff because this is a relatively new product as well. So go ahead, Courtney.
Yes.
Again.
Well, yes, thank you guys for having me today. We are extremely excited about our newest product to launch, and that was launched on August 19th. So we're just a little over a month from that initial launch date for the short-term care product. And you guys have kind of gone over some of those main points. So I just am here to kind of walk you through how to enroll, how to quote somebody. So if you are logged into the Medico Wellabe website, you can access our My Enroller from that site as well. Or you can just go to apply.myenroller.com, and this will take you to a log-on screen. So once I get logged in here, it's going to take me to the screen where I'm going to be able to select different options. Now, the Wellabe plan options are reflective based upon how your clients are going to answer those 11 health questions on the application. And we'll get into that on the next screen, and I'll give you some pointers and tips on how you can see how those questions are going to be asked and how they are answered. So before we get on to that next screen, though, I'm just going to bring your attention over here to the left-hand side. So right now, when you go to your My Enroller, it's going to default to your resident state for you. So I am in Iowa, so it defaults to Iowa for me. Now, right now, we have our short-term care product available in 10 states. We are going to be launching more states to come. Just keep an eye out for that. I haven't officially gotten that official launch date for that next set of states, but that will be coming here soon. Now, if you go onto My Enroller and you notice that there is a state not showing for you in your drop-down box, give our agent service a call, because we will have to get that state added for you. And it's an overnight update before you would actually be able to see it on your side. I always tell people to check that, because I would hate for you to be in an appointment thinking that we have you in that state, and then you go to find it and you're seeing that it's not there. So if you ever have a chance, go take a peek at the states, make sure all of the states are showing out there for you that need to be. Now, let's go down here to the bottom half. I just like to point this feature out on My Enroller because it's a new feature, and I know that a lot of tablets and iPhones and all that have it. But if you don't like this light mode, we can switch it to the dark mode. I just think that's a fun feature that we have here. But now this is the quoting screen for your My Enroller. So we're in the state of Iowa, so we're going to hit Start New. I'm going to come back to this page once we are done. So just if you have other questions about what's going on with this screen, just kind of hang tight. We'll get to that once we've completed the case here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit Start New. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in our applicant's zip code. And then we're going to put the gender. So we'll just do that if we're doing a male, and then the date of birth. Now you're going to see that based on that information that you inputted there, you're going to see the products that we have available for that. So today we're doing the short-term care. So if you just come down here to short-term care and click on it, it's going to open up that field box for you. Now, what's nice with this is it's going to ask you those health questions first before it quotes you, because again, how it's going to be quoted and what plan options are available are going to be based upon how your applicants answer those health questions. And it's going to ask if they're adding an applicant, because if two people are applying and are issued the Essential Care Plus or Essential Care, they're going to get that 14% discount. So we are going to mark that yes, we're going to say we have 2 people that are applying here today. Now, when you come down here, it's just going to put the second applicant's date of birth in. So let me get that put in here. Now it's going to add medical questions. But what I want to point out before we hit add medical questions, you're going to see these little information buttons throughout when you're doing these enrollments. So if you click on that, it is going to tell you that applicants is eligible for the Essential Care Plus plan if they answer no to all health questions. If applicant is eligible for the Essential Care Plus is if they are able to answer no to the first 6 questions, but if they answer yes to questions 7 through 11. So it will tell you that right here on the My Enroller. I just like to point that out. So if you ever have any questions on that, you can always give us a call, but you can hit your little information button and it'll tell you how they answer those questions on what plan they're going to be eligible for. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add medical questions. When you're adding these, you're going to see primary applicant and then applicant number 2. So we try to make it as easy as possible, right? One step for both applicants pretty much at the same time. So the first thing is it's going to ask if they've used tobacco in any form within the last 24 months. So you'll have to answer that accordingly. Then it's going to want to know the primary applicant height. So we'll just go ahead and we'll just get a height and a weight put in here. And then applicant 2, height and weight. And we'll get that. Now it's going to open up the health questions, and you're going to see that it's only going to show you one question at a time. So the first question, are you currently confined or receiving assistance or had any medical professional advice you need assistance or supervision for a cognitive impairment or to perform daily activities such as eating, bathing, dressing, toileting, transferring? So depending upon how they answer that question is how you're going to have to answer this. So we're going to just hit no, and then there goes the next question. So within the past 6 months, needed the assistance of a walker, wheelchair, multi-pronged cane, stair lift, chair lift, motorized cart, hospital bed, or oxygen. So again, depending upon how they answer those questions is going to depend on if the next question comes up. Now, say you're reading a question off to somebody and you hit yes to one of them, we'll get to that here in a minute. I guess I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So question 3 has if they've been confined or had any medical professional recommended that you be confined to a rehabilitation facility, nursing facility, or assisted living facility, or have you received home health care services? So we're just going to keep answering no because I want to show you what this looks like here. Now, question 4, within the past 24 months, have you been diagnosed or treated by a medical professional for Parkinson's disease, any disease or disorder of the nervous system, and so on? I could read all these questions off, but we might not have enough time if I go through all of those there. So question number 5, been diagnosed or treated by a medical profession for Lou Gehrig's disease, otherwise known as ALS, motor neuron disease, and so on. So we'll answer no to that. Question 6, we're going to answer no. Question 7, been diagnosed or treated by a medical profession as having internal cancer. So again, depending upon how they're going to answer these questions will depend upon how you answer that here. But we're just going to keep going on and we're going to hit no because I want to show you some of the other things that we have here. If you want to take a look at these health questions, you can go out to My Enroller and see them here. That way you can get a better idea of what those health questions look like. But we're going to answer no to all these questions and we're going to hit save. Now it's going to take us into the actual quoting part. So today we're doing a scenario for someone that's qualifying for the Essential Care Plus plan. So applicant 1, you're going to be able to go in here and you're going to be able to select the benefit amount. And as you see, it goes from $10 all the way up to $300 and it goes up in $10 increments. So we're just going to select $300 for 360 days with a 0-day elimination period. Now, once we add all of that in, it's automatically going to calculate the premium right here for you. Now we have those optional riders that can be added on as well. So we have the nursing facility care rider. This allows you to elect a daily benefit up to $500 per day for up to 360 additional days of care in a facility. What's nice is the rider also includes a 21-day bed reservation benefit that pays the daily amount to hold a care facility room during a hospital stay. So if they're wanting that rider, you just need to select it. And then from here, you're able to select the daily max, the daily benefit, and then the elimination period. Then we also have the adult daycare rider. The adult daycare rider is going to pay $50 for up to 20 visits in an adult daycare setting. And then the inflation protection rider. Now, if they say they want to select that nursing facility, we'll just go ahead and we'll add it here because over here you see what the base plan is going to be. But if we add this nursing facility, we'll just say for $500 for 360 days with the 0-day elimination. It's going to calculate and it's going to show what that premium would cost. So just know the My Enroller is automatically going to calculate everything for you depending upon what your applicants are looking for in a policy. Now, so this is the primary applicant. So we're going to go down and we're going to add the applicant to. So the same thing, you're going to select the daily benefit amount, and then you're going to select the benefit period, and then the elimination period. Now you're going to see that it's going to calculate their premium for them right there. Now, if they're wanting to do the return a premium rider, they can select that and it's going to show you how much that would be for them. And again, if you have questions on anything here where there's that little information button, you can select that and it's going to show you what the return of premium rider, what that is. So we'll just close out of that here. Now, right down here, these questions are already grayed out for you because do you live in the same household with another person who is over the age of 40? Yes. My Enroller knows that because you entered 2 applicants, so you don't have to answer that again. Now, if you were only doing an application for one person, it will that question will be available for you to answer. Now, the next question is also grayed out because is the other person applying for Essential Care or Essential Care Plus plan? Again, My Enroller already knows that that is they're applying for that. Now, the last question on here is, like was mentioned, if either you or the applicant, either the primary applicant or secondary applicant is currently covered by, or if they are applying for a Medicare supplement policy with any of the Wellabe companies, they are going to get that 5% multi-policy discount. So if they do, or if they are applying at the same time, then you would answer yes, and it's just going to want to know the policy number. But in this case, we did somebody that was under not eligible for Medicare, so we're just going to answer no for that. Now we're going to come down here and we're going to add the plan. So over here, I'm going to call it kind of like your shopping cart type thing, kind of like any online services where you do shopping at, and I'm sure all of us here do our fair share of shopping online. It's going to show you the primary applicant, and it's going to show you what was selected. Then it's going to give you applicant 2, and it's going to show you what was selected for their plan as well. And then it's going to give a grand total for both policies. What is nice from here is you can email the quote. So you can email the quote to your applicant. With that, it's going to send a copy of the quote, a copy of the brochure, and then your information as the agent. You can also print the quote from here as well. Now, if you're ready to go through, if they're ready to enroll, all you need to do is hit Start Application, and it is going to walk you through the entire application process. What is nice about My Enroller is anything where you see this little red asterisk, that is going to be a required field. It will not let you move on unless everything is filled out how it is wanting it to be filled out. So let's just go ahead and we'll just put in the applicant's name here, and then the home address. And then the city, we'll just say Des Moines, that's where our home office is out of. And then the state and the zip code is already pre-populated because you already entered that information at the very beginning. Now it's going to want to know the phone number. And then the social security number and email address, those are not required fields. So if you don't have those, you don't have to worry about inputting those. Now, if the mailing address is the same, you can leave that checked, but for whatever reason, if it's different, you can uncheck it, and then you can type in the mailing address if it's different than the home address. Today's sake, we're just going to say it's the same. Now it's going to come down here and it's going to ask for applicant 2's name. So we'll go ahead and just put their name in here as well. And then their phone number. And then the gender, because it didn't ask us that question on the quoting screen. It just asked if another person was applying. So we will go ahead and put that in. And then again, the social security number is not a required field. Now, this little box does have to be checked down here, that the information furnished on this application will be complete, true, and then correctly recorded to the best of your knowledge. After that, you can go on to the next screen. Now, it's just going to walk you through the standard application process. So it's going to want to know the name of the physician. So we'll put Dr. Smith. Phone number and address are not required. Do not worry about that because let's be honest, who on the top of their hand knows their doctor's number and their address? Everybody usually has to look it up, or, good old Google, you have to go search for it. So then we're going to put in applicant 2, their physician's information. Now, the prescription information. This is a nice feature because it's going to ask, have you taken any prescription medication in the past 24 months? So you will still have to answer that accordingly, either yes or no. But if you answer yes, you do not have to input that prescription medication information. You can simply go on down and then put in the applicant to information, but you can just go on to the next page. Now, please note, if you start to put in a prescription medication in, you would have to fill in all of the fields and then hit add drug info, but it's not required. We did that because we're checking that on the back end anyways. So we want to do this to help save time when you are enrolling somebody in one of our policies here. So we're just going to go on and we're going to go on to the next page. Now it's just going to ask that replacement information. So you'll have to answer these according to how the applicant is answering them. So do you have another short-term care policy in force? If you hit yes, you'll see there's just a few other questions that you would have to answer. And you're going to notice it's asking us the same question twice because it's going to ask for the primary applicant and then it's asking for applicant 2 as well. Okay, now we're going to go on, and this going to be for your use as the agent. So you're just needing to certify the information and the application was provided by the applicant and correctly recorded. So that does need to be checked. Also, what needs to be checked is the preferred effective date. So the preferred effective date automatically defaults to the 1st of the following month. If you needed to change that, you will need to return to your quote screen down here, and then you can change it to a different day if needed. We can have effective dates be days 1 through 28 of the month, the day after everything is signed by both you and the applicant. Then it's going to also ask if you want to split your commissions. We know that's not the case most of the time, but sometimes it does happen. So if you are, you can hit yes. And then there's just some additional information that you would have to fill out there. Now we'll just keep moving on here. This is going to take you through to the application agreement. I'm not going to read all of that here for time's sake today, but we'll go on to the next page. Now we're going to get into the signature options. So there's a couple different ways for signature options. If the applicant is present, you'll do electronic signature, applicant is present, or if they have an email address, you can type in their email address, and after you hit complete case, then an email is going to be sent to them for them to sign. So I will show you that way, and then we'll also go through the voice authorization as well. So the electronic signature, applicant is present, you are just going to type in their date of birth and phone number, how it was entered on the application, and hit yes. By entering my date of birth and phone number, I am electronically signing my application. So that is if they are present with you. If they are not present with you, you're going to type in their email address. And again, once you hit complete case on your side, that's going to send off that email to your applicant for them to get it and sign for it that way. We also have the voice authorization. So the voice authorization, you are never going to be talking to a live person. It's going to all be recorded, but it's going to prompt you with what you need to do. So you're going to have to conference call your client into the number that comes up on your screen here. It's going to ask you to enter a 5-digit code, and then you are just reading off the terms and conditions on this. Now, I know that this looks like a lot here. I've had people say, after I've done a few of them, I get faster with it. And you can always go in and take a look at this too without actually completing an application if you ever wanted to do that. After you've read that off, just know that you have to go in and you have to hit pound. Pound stops and saves that voice authorization over to us. We marked that out in red. Since you're doing 2 applicants, you're going to have to call in again because it's going to give a different code for applicant number 2. So after everything is read off, and again, you have to hit the pound button, but when you hit next, it's going to tell you that. Make sure you hit the pound to stop and save the voice authorization recording. I get that question a lot. Well, sometimes I'm in the middle of talking to somebody. I might forget to hit the pound button. It's going to tell you what needs to be done. So we're going to close out of that. And then we're going to go on to the next screen. Now it's going to take you into the email applicant copy. So if your applicant has an email address and they want a copy of the application sent to them, you would just need to create a 10-digit PDF password Now, we do not keep those passwords on file, so we usually recommend maybe using a phone number with the area code. And then all you have to do is enter in your applicant's email address. Then they're going to get a copy of that sent to them. Now, you may be sitting there saying, my clients, some of them, they don't have email addresses available. So what do I do on this screen? No worries. If they don't have an email available, all you need to do is just hit no email available. And then when the policy packet is mailed to them, they are going to receive it in their policy packet when it's sent to them. Now, this is going to be for both those applicants. So we're going to go on to the next page. Now it's going to walk us through to the bank draft information. So let me just they gave me a little cheat sheet here with some test banking information. So let me get that pulled up here. So we're just going to type in ABC Bank, the routing number, that is going to be 104. And then it's going to want to know the account number. For some reason, when I talk and type, I cannot do it. So that's why when I type these numbers in, I kind of quit talking there. All right. So now that we have that information in place, the bank address, that is not a required field. It is not in that red asterisk, so you do not have to worry about getting that information because, again, not too many people are going to know the name of their bank or the address of their bank, I should say. Now it's going to want to know the account type, if it's a checking or if it's a savings account. And then it's just wanting to make sure that they are authorized to use the account. Now, I mentioned that the bill date can be, we can have bill days be days 1 through 28 of the month. And that's because not all months have 29, 30, and 31 days in them. So with this, most of the time, people usually leave it as the effective date. But for whatever reason, they can select a date here. So we'll just say the 1st. Now, when you jump down here, you're going to notice that there's a little red asterisk. I have reviewed the payment scenarios with the applicant and our owner. What this means, this has to be checked because there's different scenarios that could happen for the bill date, and we just want to make sure everybody is aware of those options for that bill date. So you can look at this here just to make sure. So I'm going to use the example of, say somebody has the middle of the month of an effective date. So we'll just say October 15th for an effective date. But maybe they want it to draft on, say, the 4th of the month. Our system is going to recognize that the 4th of the month has already passed, and it's going to draft it out right away. But now, say somebody wants the 15th of a month for an effective date, but they don't want it to draft until, say, October 20th. We will wait until October 20th. So this just gives those scenario options. We just want to make sure everybody is aware when those drafts will hit their account. So we'll close out of that, and then we're going to hit that we have reviewed the payment scenarios. Now, the account name, most of the time, it's the same as that it appears on the account, but for whatever reason, if it's different, you can uncheck it, and then you're just going to have to type in that information there. We're just going to leave it. Now, we're going to go to the next page. What this is doing, this is taking all that information that we just entered, and it is taking it into a PDF form. So since we did 2 applications, it might just take a minute or so here to fully load. But now you're going to see here it is. It's going to look just like, paper application. So everything that you entered will be in here. Now, please do not stop at this screen. A lot of times agents stop here because it looks like everything has been completed, but make sure that you hit your next button and you hit complete case. Then this is when it's being sent over. So if you have the e-signature option where they were not, applicant was not present, this is when an application is going to be sent to them to sign. Or if they were present with you, it's going to be sent over to underwriting. Now, just know if you have with somebody and you did applicant is not present and that email is sent to them, you as the agent are going to get reminder emails as well, letting you know when the application has been signed, or maybe it still has not been signed. It will let you know. So that way you can touch base with your client. We do that because we want you to know where the application process is at all times. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to return to the dashboard. I told you we'd come back to the screen here at the end. So now up at the top here, you have incomplete, pending, incomplete cases. Incomplete is, say you're in the middle of an application, you have to get out of it. it'll fall in your incompletes. Then you can just go back into your edit button and it will take you back into where you left off. Now, for security reasons, if you inputted information such as a social security number or banking information, that will be wiped out and you will have to input that again. The pending is going to be if you did e-sign, the applicant is not present, then it is going to be fall in this category because we're still waiting for that signature to be received. Or if it's been completed, then it's going to fall here in your completed submissions. So this is a great way for you to go take a look to see where everything is at with these applications. Now with the Essential Care Plus plan, since it is a fully underwritten product, with that, underwriting may reach out to the applicant to do that telephone interview. But with these plans, there's so many options. And I know it was said earlier that we have the different plans available depending upon the underwriting. And we did that to help people get coverage because they may not be able to qualify. You know, we always know long-term care, it's expensive and it's hard to qualify for. So these short-term care policies, they're great policies, very affordable as well. And we are super excited about this product here. So that is what I have for the enrollment part. Now, if you're not contracted with Wellabe already, you can go to our quick quotes to just take a look at the quotes for this if you wanted to. You don't have to be contracted to get in that. You would have to be contracted with us to use the My Enroller, but the quick quotes is just quickquote.myenroller.com, and that'll take you to the quoting page. So that way you can take a look at the quotes from there as well. Now, let me see. I'll go see if there's any questions here. Is there a voice signature remote option? So yes, so the voice signature is if you're not with your applicant, you can just hit voice authorization, and then you would just have to conference call that number with your applicant on the phone, and then read the recording over the phone to them, and then that would be that voice signature if you're not present with them. Oh, great question. How did the company name Wellabe come about? Yes, so many of you may know us as Medico. So how Wellabe came was we had our parent company, and there was a lot of companies that rolled up to one parent company, and we wanted to have one unified brand name. When people see Wellabe, we want them to know that Medico follows under that. Great Western is our sister company. We wanted everybody to know that all of those companies were Wellabe, and the Wellabe became because we will always be there. We will always be there for you as the agents and for your clients as well. So that is how Wellabe came about. We launched that name on June 26th was the official launch date for Wellabe. Still the same people, so still the same products, everything. It's just we just had that name change.
Wow, thank you.
I was going through the chat to see if there was anything there, but I didn't see anything in the chat.
No problem. I'm going to jump back to my screen. Is that okay, Court?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll tell you what a great job. That was really well done. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that today. And we know sometimes you're drinking out of a fire hose when you hear everything for the first time, but I think you'll all agree if you're listening in, that's a very intuitive site. I mean, it's one thing we love about Wellabe and a lot of these carriers is that it's pretty easy. It's not rocket science. When you do online with long-term care, you get some of these 35-page apps and you feel like it's overwhelming. This one is very intuitive, and it does check your oil, and it checks to make sure if you make a mistake, like Courtney was saying, it'll catch you on and it'll steer you in the right direction. So great job to the IT folks over at Medico and Wellabe, because I think you'll agree, very, very easy to use and very easy to go out and make recommendations. I'm glad she showed that site on the quickquote.myenroller.com. I think I even put it up here as a slide just in case, but that's the site. If you just want to jump in and you're not appointed yet, down at the bottom there, quickquote.myenroller.com, if you want to go in and play in the sandbox. So lots of good things there. I'm going to let Courtney go, and I'm going to let the rest of you go. I do want to thank you. I think Dennis, unless he jumps on, I think he may have had to take off. He's traveling today. Dennis, are you still around?
Yeah, I'm here, Tom. I was just getting ready to take off, but Courtney, great job. And I think that this Wellabe is has a fit in a variety of circumstances, but certainly as Tom illustrated and Courtney went through and and showed us how the eApp process, it's great for those couples business, especially when you have that uninsurable spouse, but certainly even for two that are healthy that are applying, or even the singles that apply. So it's a great addition to the menu, and we really look forward to working with those of you who have questions. And Tom, I'll turn it back over to you.
You bet. And again, Courtney, thank you so much for taking your valuable time today. And we can't stress enough, Medico and Wellabe just been a great partner to work with. And as part of this Integrity Short-Term Care Initiative, they're a major player in it. And we're really excited for the opportunities that are around the bend. So check that out. And when you go on the site, make sure you check out our underwriting tools so you know when this might be available to you. And if it is available to you, you can see the different plan options in our training that we have on the product as well. So again, Courtney, if you have any closing thoughts, I'd love to turn it back to you if you'd like to have any closing thoughts.
Yes, no, just thank you for having me on today. Like I said, we're extremely excited about this product launch. I've been at the company for 12 years, so I've seen different products roll out, and this new product here, I was extremely happy and excited that we have it. And as you mentioned at the beginning, because it's a true indemnity. That is one thing that I was really excited about. So if there's ever anything that we can help with here at Wellabe, please let us know. But thank you for having me on here today.
You bet. And thanks again. And everybody else who, before you log off, remember the next step is up to you. Usually I get on my soapbox and talk about the fact that, the stats aren't going to change. Most people have never had a conversation about extended care, and it's your job as an agent to go out, get out of your comfort zone just a little bit and learn a couple of these products and realize how easy it is to start the conversation. If you're selling Medicare or final expense or anything else, we need to help those seniors in America, because if you don't do it, nobody else is. So step up and contact that marketer that got you on this webinar, and make sure you get started and get appointed with not only Wellabe, but all the products in the portfolio, so you can help as many people as possible. Thanks again, Courtney. Thanks, Dennis, and have a great day.
The next step is yours. Contact your marketer for more information and to start offering short-term care solutions to your clients. And be sure to sign up for our other short-term care hot topic webinars.